Hey y'all, hey, welcome to the Joys of Loss podcast, where we acknowledge, accept, and address our major life transitions so that we can learn better, love better, and live better. Since we won't make it out alive, let's have a divine time. And remember to always stay wild. I am your host, Zan Washington, and this is episode 23. All right. Okay. Episode 23. Ayo. Shout out to the number 23. My birthday is April 23rd. So the week that y'all are getting this episode, yeah, my birthday would have just passed. So yeah, show me some birthday love in the comments. Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe, share. Wow. Another birthday. That's really exciting. Birthdays feel so different the older that you get. Maybe it's just being at the end of my 30s. I'll be 38, and that it's funny when you're a kid, or even when you're in college or high school. You just don't know. You don't think about the age 38. Like, who thinks of 38? I was so stuck on 30 for a minute, but then once that passed, it's like, I don't think I understood what would happen in the 30s, and then I think you find yourself maybe skipping to the 40s, but I don't know. So it's cool. I love being present and being, just staying focused with what I'm doing now and how I feel now and who I am as the woman I am now. And it just relieves the pressure, right? So yes, I'm just gonna do how I feel today. That's it. All right, that's all we got. Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about how everyone is grieving something. All right, everyone is grieving something. And after going through my losses and different things with different people, of course with my first daughter River, and then with grandmama and my mom, within more of loss in the traditional sense when it comes to death, but just thinking about losses in general, just major life transitions or earthquakes. It's like there's so much that goes on with people that isn't an obvious thing, right? You couldn't see me on this podcast if you don't know who I am. You couldn't see this video or listen to me or randomly see me out or at the park with my daughter or in the grocery store or whatever, at Starbucks, okay, Chick-fil-A drive-thru. Anyway, but you couldn't see me and be able to say, oh, she looked like she lost her first daughter and her mom. She do look like that, right? Like, no, you can't tell that I've experienced those things. And I'm saying that to say that, like, all of these things that I have personally gone through has just caused my empathy to expand. All right. I am just so much more aware and truly even more intentional about the giving of people, like giving grace to people, but also being like, I don't know what that person dealing with. So it's not about always letting people make it, right? Because I've learned boundaries as well. So it's like, I can still send you love. I can still think of you in a better way, or even say, you know what? They don't know how to handle all the things they've gone through in their life, and they're probably projecting that on me. I can have that kind of awareness and still stand my ground and say, well, I don't want you treating me like that, so it's cool, right? But I can still acknowledge the fact that I don't know everything you're feeling, until if you were to share that with me, or if you were to be open with that, if you were to actually, admit the fact of what's going on in your life, then that's different too. But, just the way we can just treat people crazy, we can just make these assumptions of people without asking, we can treat people so poorly, and you don't know what the hell they going through. For example, went to the park. We took Arizona to the park, and I ended up talking to this family. So they had 4 daughters. It was a husband and a wife, and they had 4 daughters. And I ended up talking to the mom, and she said something. Oh, I ended up stepping on a bee. What was that about? Like, y'all crazy. First of all, I got a whole new respect for bees. Those little stingers hurt. And then gratitude, I'm not allergic to bees. Now I know. I realize I never knew, and nor did I know to check that box if I was allergic or not. So I'm not allergic to bees. So cool. Anywho, so I'm talking about like, oh my God, I just stepped on a bee. Like, and she was like, oh, I don't know. I normally keep this ointment, but I left it at the Airbnb. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, Airbnb? Oh, where y'all from? And it's like Oklahoma. And we're here because my husband got a kidney transplant. I'm like, oh, wow. Congratulations. Like, that's exciting, And I'm asking, like, how long was he on the list? And he was on the list for like a year and some change, but her mother put something on Facebook. It went viral, and some random guy from Oregon contacts them and says that he would like to donate his kidney, a stranger. And then he gets matched, and turns out his match is better than siblings. It was the best match it could have ever been. And then it turns out too that like the transplant, when it's a living donor, they end up going through, it's a harder recovery for the living donor because they're losing a kidney versus when you're used to not functioning and you get the kidney transplant. Because she said her husband just was immediately better and just telling me all these things. And I was like, that is an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that, because now it's like, it just further helps me prove to believe in miracles. Like, really, miracles happen. And today could be a special day for you. It's like, now I'm like, I needed to say this out loud because I've been starting to feel a little low and, kind of grieving some old things, just other things in my life. And it's like, no, like today, just expect miraculous things to happen. And that, just hearing her story and seeing those little girls in the way that truly can have their dad in this capacity so much better. And the living donor said he had some brain things, and he said he wanted to give because he knew what it felt like to be uncomfortable. Yo, what the, like, oh my gosh. I was just sitting there like, he what? Like, he went through like a 9-month process to prepare his body to give to someone he didn't know. What? Y'all, just blown away. I think it's just the most magical stuff. Like, it's magic all around us. And I was like, man, this is why you can't treat people crazy. I didn't look at them and think, I was just like, man, they got 4 daughters. That's a lot of kids. But it was more like, I didn't know they had been here in Houston for 4 weeks. Because her husband's getting a kidney transplant that he miraculously was able to get. And it turns out that list is like 8 years long. And I've also had another friend that's gotten 2 kidney transplants. Like, talk about blessed. So it's like when I think about my life, I'm like, man, I do know of miracles. I have witnessed miracles. I've seen miracles in my own life. But y'all, everybody is grieving something. Everybody's having to let go of something. Something has been taken from somebody. Somebody has lost something. Somebody's hurting about something. And it's like, just start, just kind of walk in life a little lighter. Just walk in life in just even more gratitude, because you don't know what people are dealing with. You don't know what is going on. And not that you need to know, but let's just, I don't know, smile. Let's just say, you know what, I'm not feeling it today. Let me just stay here and let my energy not impact other people. Let me say no when I need to say no. Let me take care of myself, or let me just be like, hey, can I help you with that? Do you need some help? Or what's going on with you? What have you been grieving lately? What about that? So everyone's grieving something. And I just find myself basking in the little things, breathing in a little deeper, hugging a little tighter. And to know that even with the grieving, that there's still some beautiful things, that there's still miracles, and miracles are real. All right. So We're going to dive into the book divination. While I'm doing this, I need you to like, comment, subscribe, share, look in the description below. Like, look at that group program, y'all. Y'all need to get in on this group program. It's going to be live. All right. Yeah. I also have my 12 steps of preparing for the inevitable. That's free down there. You can get your copy. Yeah. So we have 101 essays that will change the way you think by my favorite author, Brianna Wiest. Y'all, hey Brianna. Hey girl, hey. All right. So let's see what we can get. What's a collective need today? What do we need, Spirit? Going on and guide us. Okay, right here. Okay. Yikes. All right. So essay number 77. So I don't know if y'all been seeing 77. I've been seeing 77. So why do we value our suffering so much? Whoa. Okay. Suffering is a necessary evil, but its inevitability is not the result of being something that we naturally have to process out of due course. It's not something we take a passive role in. It is the result of a lack of our growth. It is a catalyst to signal to us there's more to be done. This is to say, we're in control of it. We cultivate and experience it because we allow it. Rather, we allow the unhealed parts of us to control everything else. If we remain unconscious of this and that its origin and therefore solution is external, we start to believe that we deserve it. Any one of us can recall instances in which we've unnecessarily ruined a day that was otherwise going well with a flurry of worry and ungrounded paranoia. We start forcing ourselves to panic almost out of necessity. If there's nothing, fill it with something we deserve. Where does that assumption come from, though? It usually has a lot to do with repressed emotions. We accumulate these feelings that we don't accept or deal with, and they become the foundation on which we accumulate our beliefs about ourselves. As long as we attach ourselves to an idea of what's wrong and then allow ourselves to be conditioned by it, a friend lashing out is an outer projection of what they're dealing with. A failed opportunity usually makes way for a better suited one. We become conditioned by the idea that we're not good enough. And the key is realizing that we do this to ourselves. We live trapped in the mental structures that we allowed external circumstances to construct because we never realized we could dismantle them. As soon as we're in a situation that activates one of those memories, taps into an unhealed, unresolved issue, we don't stop to see objectively. We lash out at what aggravated the problem. Our pain can't dictate our internal dialogue, and we can't let ourselves run with compulsive, involuntary thoughts. Every time we do this, we allow that emotion to infiltrate our awareness and transmute itself into our current experience. We project what was onto what is. I gotta say that again. We project what was onto what is. There's an element of disidentification that has to happen. The realization that what's being experienced isn't a matter of what's at hand, but just a subjective, temporary projection of whatever it is you currently believe, in this case, that you should suffer. Ironically, though, the opposite of pain isn't joy, it's acceptance. Ooh, Brianna. Resisting only adds more fuel to the fire. It sets you back to where you were when you initially repressed it. It's not dismantling the structure, it's strengthening it. You permit it by fighting it. It's hard for us to believe we deserve happiness, and so we continually go out of our way to attract and inflict pain. That dichotomy is natural and it's human, but there's something to be said for transcending it. If you want to think it's impossible, you'll only continue to suffer because of it. If you want to keep valuing that suffering as something that makes you more human, then so be it. But the reality is that what makes us human is not what destroys us, but what we build ourselves with again. As Marcus Aurelius has said, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. Whoo! I got chills. I got so many goosebumps. It's like I'm saying everyone's grieving something. And so we can use that to be kind, be loving, and connect. But we also can use that as, man, how can we transcend that? How can we get past that? And I know that people are grieving something, and I can see how, because of that, that's why their lives are miserable. That's why you may be miserable, because you won't transcend it. You won't push past it. And that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. That's what work I'm putting in. I don't even say work no more. That's what effort I'm putting in. And in this very moment, that's what kind of coach I am. If you're interested in life coaching, like, that's what I do. That's what I help you do. Not only through my own living example, but to help you get past the things that you keep using as the excuse, as the reason why you can't blah, blah, blah. That's what I do. That's what I can do for you. So if you're interested in that, hit that up in the link, all right, in the description at alwaysstaywild.com. But for yourselves, for real, like, everyone's grieving something. So, like, let's show love, let's show understanding. But how is that grief taking them? How is it taking them over? How is it taking you over? Whatever you grieving, So I wish you nothing but love. Just, y'all, we don't need to suffer out here. Let's stop suffering. All right. So remember, comment, like, subscribe, do the things. Whoop, whoop. All right. So yeah, I love y'all so much. Since we won't make it out alive, let's have a divine time, y'all. A divine time. And remember to always stay wild. And happy birthday to me. Woo! Taurus season. All right. I love y'all so much. Bye.